Today, you're about to discover 10 masterpieces that you must watch before you die. These are hidden gems, films that can change your life with their sheer brilliance. Heart-wrenching dramas with phenomenal performances, surreal science fiction, wild thrillers packed with dark humor, and so much more. Get ready, because you might just find your next favorite movie. Today on Cine Prime.
About your wallet. What else you got for me? Huh?
Some movies grab you from the very first moment. You just can't look away, completely captivated. That's exactly the case with Collateral. Directed by Michael Mann in 2004, this underrated gem throws us into a gripping, adrenaline-fueled night in Los Angeles. Max, a taxi driver with unfulfilled dreams, picks up Vincent, a smooth and enigmatic passenger. What seems like just another ride quickly turns into a nightmare when Max discovers that his client is a hitman with 5 targets to eliminate that night. Tom Cruise delivers the coldest, most chilling performance of his career, turning every line of dialogue into a psychological duel. Jamie Foxx shines as the everyday man caught in an impossible situation. The tension builds with every scene, amplified by mesmerizing cinematography and a pulse-pounding soundtrack. Collateral is a masterfully crafted thriller, visually stunning and narratively gripping. If you think reality is already chaotic enough, just wait until you watch Brazil. Directed by Terry Gilliam, this dystopian masterpiece plunges us into a bureaucratic nightmare where the system controls every aspect of life. Sam Lowry, a low-level office worker trapped in the gears of a soulless society, dreams of escaping to a world of fantasy. But when a clerical error drags him into an absurd conspiracy, his life spirals into a surreal nightmare. Plus, Robert De Niro makes a brief yet iconic appearance. With a one-of-a-kind aesthetic that blends retro and futuristic elements, Brazil is a visual and narrative feast, combining satire, absurd humor, and a razor-sharp critique of modern society. This film will make you question reality itself. If you love thought-provoking stories, visually dazzling worlds, and timeless messages, Brazil is an experience you can't afford to miss.
¿Qué? ¿Se te olvida algo, Reinito?
Amores Perros, directed by Alejandro González Iñárritu, is a raw, visceral, and brutally honest portrayal of life in Mexico City. This film hits like a gut punch with its gritty realism and interwoven storytelling. 3 seemingly separate narratives that, through fate and violence, collide in unexpected ways. With a non-linear structure, Amores Perros explores themes of love, betrayal, and the struggle for survival. From the tragedy of a devastating accident to the brutal world of underground dogfights, every story reflects the darkest corners of Mexican society, unfiltered and unapologetic. Iñárritu's masterful direction, combined with a haunting score by Gustavo Santaolalla and powerhouse performances from Gael García Bernal and Emilio Echevarría, elevates this film to true cinematic greatness. Amores Perros is an emotional roller coaster, gritty, intense, and unforgettable. If you haven't seen it yet, you're missing out on a landmark of Latin American cinema.
Nurse?
If you loved Snatch, or simply enjoy dark comedies packed with unpredictable twists and unforgettable characters, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels is a must-watch. Directed by Guy Ritchie, the mastermind behind Snatch, this film has become a British cult classic, fusing humor, crime, and action into a wildly entertaining ride. The story follows a group of young Londoners who, after losing a fortune in a rigged poker game, get caught up in a chaotic criminal underworld involving thieves, gangsters, and a pair of antique rifles that become central to the mayhem. With a razor-sharp script, eccentric characters, and dynamic direction, Lock, Stock keeps you hooked until the very last minute. Ritchie's signature fast-paced storytelling and clever twists make this a defining film of the crime genre. If you're looking for something smart, stylish, and endlessly entertaining, this one's a guaranteed winner. Hunt, Jagton, directed by Thomas Vinterberg, tells the harrowing story of a man whose ordinary life, filled with friendship, honest work, and family, is shattered when he is falsely accused of child abuse. Through his agonizing struggle to clear his name, The Hunt explores the terrifying power of mass hysteria, the weight of public judgment, and the irreversible damage of a lie. Every insult, every blow, every betrayal that the protagonist suffers feels painfully real, thanks to the film's immersive storytelling, emotionally charged performances, and unrelenting tension. This is one of the most gut-wrenching films I've ever seen, forcing the audience to step into the shoes of a man who endures one of the worst injustices imaginable. The Hunt is a powerful exploration of justice, revenge, and morality. If you haven't seen it yet, this is a film that will linger in your mind long after the credits roll, and its message is more relevant than ever. Irreversible is one of the most controversial, groundbreaking, and raw films in cinema history. It's the kind of movie that leaves a lasting mark due to its brutal intensity and unique style. The story is told in reversed chronological order, revealing the aftermath of an atrocious act first, but in an absolutely gut-wrenching way. The film follows Marcus and Pierre as they hunt down the perpetrator of a sexual assault, but since the narrative moves backward, each scene becomes more shocking as we uncover what really happened. What makes Irreversible so disturbing isn't just its explicit content, but the way Gaspar Noé manipulates the camera and sound to create an emotionally overwhelming experience. But without a doubt, what cemented this film in cinematic history is the infamous 9-minute single-take scene in which Monica Bellucci's character is assaulted. It's one of the most harrowing and difficult-to-watch moments ever put on film, yet it serves a purpose. It's not gratuitous, but intentionally horrifying. Trust me, this film is a masterpiece.
Give me this. Oh.
If you're a fan of Tarantino and Scorsese, this next film is guaranteed to land in your top favorites, combining Tarantino's sharp dialogue and violence with Scorsese's masterful direction and storytelling. Boogie Nights, directed by the brilliant Paul Thomas Anderson, follows the rise of Dirk Diggler, a young man with an unexpected talent for the adult film industry. Played by Mark Wahlberg, he quickly becomes entangled in a world of excess, addiction, and the relentless struggle to stay on top. But what truly elevates Boogie Nights is its brutal yet fascinating reflection on the American dream. Anderson's sublime direction immerses you in the golden age of adult cinema while exploring the dark corners of fame and self-destruction. This isn't just a film. It's a cinematic experience that makes you question the price of success. More than just a defining film of the 90s, Boogie Nights leaves an unforgettable impression. If you haven't seen it yet, get ready for an absolute masterpiece.
Good afternoon. This is the Barrel Gang. Now, if everybody will just take it easy, nobody will get hurt.
The world's most famous criminal couple was brilliantly brought to the big screen by Arthur Penn. Bonnie and Clyde is a film that will completely change your perception of 60s cinema. This film didn't just revolutionize the crime genre, it redefined how violence and outlaw stories were portrayed on screen. Following Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow, two young outlaws who became pop culture icons during the Great Depression, this film doesn't just tell a story, it creates a unique atmosphere of romance, tragedy, and adrenaline-fueled action. Arthur Penn masterfully blends glamour and desperation, making Bonnie and Clyde as impactful today as it was at its release. And speaking of impact, the ending remains one of the most shocking in cinema history. Imagine how audiences reacted when it first hit theaters. This film permanently changed how violence was depicted in Hollywood. No spoilers here, but just know, it's intense and unforgettable. If you haven't seen it yet, prepare for a transformative experience.
Yeah, get her.
Think you've seen every revenge movie out there? Oldboy will prove you wrong. Directed by Park Chan-wook, this South Korean masterpiece is a brutal psychological thriller that redefines justice and fate. The story follows Oh Dae-soo, an ordinary man who is suddenly kidnapped and imprisoned in a tiny room for 15 years, without explanation. When he's mysteriously released, he embarks on a relentless mission to uncover who did this to him and why. But the truth that awaits him is darker and more devastating than anything he could have imagined. With stunning cinematography, masterful direction, and unforgettable sequences, like the iconic hallway fight scene, Oldboy is one of the greatest films of all time. If you thought the ending of Seven was shocking, brace yourself, because Oldboy will blow your mind. Its twisted narrative, stylized violence, and unforgettable final twist make it a must-watch masterpiece.
Slow down. While I what? Huh? While I what? Take it easy! My husband and my little girls are dead, and I'm supposed to take it fucking easy!
The most heart-wrenching yet hopeful film I've ever seen. 21 Grams, directed by Alejandro González Iñárritu, weaves together 3 interconnected stories, all linked by a tragic accident. Naomi Watts delivers a gut-wrenching performance as a mother who loses her husband and daughters in a sudden crash. Meanwhile, we also follow the man responsible for the accident, as well as another man who receives a heart transplant from Naomi Watts' deceased husband. What makes 21 Grams so incredible is its ability to make us empathize with all of its characters, despite their flaws. The performances are beyond outstanding, but Naomi Watts takes it to another level, one of the best performances I've ever seen.
They both died in the accident.
No! Don't touch me! Get out of my house now! You make me sick!
And if you think Tarantino is the master of non-linear storytelling, wait until you see this. At first, the film feels like a chaotic puzzle, with fragmented, disjointed scenes. But when it all clicks, the emotional impact is overwhelming. If you haven't watched this masterpiece yet, do it ASAP. It's one of those films that doesn't just make you feel, it changes you. I watched it recently, and it immediately entered my all-time favorites. That's the list. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment which movies you want me to cover next. Also, follow me on Instagram and Letterboxd. Bye.